coming to you from an unknown location, at the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, bringing you the unknown. Welcome to another spine-tingling episode of Paranormal 411. Your hosts are David Reagan and Jason Scott, and together, they dive headfirst into the mysteries that lurk just beyond our understanding, featuring notable experts ready to share their insights into the world of the strange and unknown. So pull up a chair, pour a cup of something warm, and prepare to be enthralled. Here at Paranormal 411, we're not just a radio show, we're a community of truth seekers, adventurers of the mind, exploring the boundaries of the known and unknown. We invite you to join us, to share your thoughts, your experiences, your questions. Whether you've had your own encounter with the supernatural or you're simply intrigued by the inexplicable, we want to hear from you. So, don't be shy. Drop a comment and let's unravel the mysteries of the universe together. Buckle up as we journey beyond the veil of the ordinary, into the heart of the extraordinary. This is Paranormal 411, where the inexplicable meets reality and imagination takes flight. Stay tuned and remember, in the world of the paranormal, nothing is as it seems.
All right, welcome to another episode of Paranormal 411.
I wouldn't want to be that guy right there
Why?
because he's about to go up and get
Oh,
probed.
yeah, okay.
I wasn't pointing at you, Jason. What's up? How you doing, man? How you been?
Been doing good. How about you?
Oh, doing pretty good.
That's good.
I'm ready for the holidays.
Oh, yeah.
Got a 1 week off coming up.
1 week off.
1 week off. Yeah.
Must be nice.
I know. So, I don't know if you know this, but we're live on Spreaker. We're live on Facebook and YouTube. And maybe we'll be live on Podbean.
Trying to be.
We'll see. Podbean has been giving us trouble here lately. Been the problem child. Hey, we do have a book out. You can find us on Amazon. Search for East Tennessee Hauntings and Lore. It's a great little coffee table book. We're in the process of writing numero dos, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that book will no longer be found. So get it while you can. Sometime here real soon, we will be throwing out the new cover. Let everybody see what the new cover of the book is. We've already got the cover. And if you're looking to find us, you can do that at paranormal411.org. You can find us at Paranormal411 on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
YouTube and Twitter.
Oh, man. On Saturday night.
Or X.
Oh, well, yeah. I guess I need to change that, right? Because it's X now. We're also on Saturday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at WDJY FM. So if you're in the metro Atlanta area, you can go to 99.1 FM and listen to us. And if you're not in the metro Atlanta area, you could go to WDJYFM.com, listen to us. You could also go to paranormal411.org. And we have a little banner there, or a little icon that you can click on and go listen to it.
Oh, yeah.
And we're also on all of your favorite podcast platforms. Join us.
All of your favorite.
All of your favorite. Join us.
Yes.
Join us.
Tonight we did the intro a little different.
We did. What do you think?
See how it worked?
Tell us what you think about it. Oh, it looks like Podbean's working.
Yeah, I got it working.
Ooh, look at that. We got Podbean working. Hello, Podbeaners.
Podbeaners. Hey, you guys on
Podbeaners.
Podbean, we need some callers.
We will take callers tonight.
Yes.
When they start popping up, we'll need to tell them.
Yes.
So
tonight we're going to be talking about, of course, alien abduction.
Abductions.
Ooh.
Ooh.
What do you think? Alien
And,
abduction.
You know, I think it's fascinating, pretty fascinating, because the alien abduction phenomenon, right, is something that is pretty big. What I find fascinating about it is that, you know, we've had all these hearings and stuff like this in Washington, right?
Mm-hmm.
About aliens, UFOs, well, UAPs, and all this stuff, but they've not once, so far anyway, had anybody that's pretty credible, like Travis Walton and stuff like that, come in and tell their stories.
No.
It's only been, and I kind of get it. I understand, you have these guys coming in that are from the US government that are fighter pilots and things like that. And they're like, oh, well, you've got to be more credible. But they need to start peeling back the layers, I think, of this onion and saying, okay, well, if these guys are credible, well, let's bring these people in and listen to their stories too.
Right.
Vet them. Go ahead and vet them. Make sure that they're, telling as truthful as a story as they can, right? Because I'm sure, and all of you out there know that we're pretty sure in this, those of us who follow this stuff all the time. And if you're watching this, I'm sure you're one of them. That they know everything that comes in and out of our airspace.
Oh yeah.
Everything.
Right.
So they could corroborate. Did we see something anomalous that night over by where John says he had this abduction story? Right.
Mm-hmm.
So they can do that pretty easily. I'm sure they can.
Yeah. Maybe that's why they don't have them come testify.
Maybe. Especially when you have stuff like Travis Walton. I mean, you have multiple people who saw him get abducted.
Right.
I mean, they thought he was dead at first.
Then they tried to blame it on his buddies.
Yeah.
Killed him.
Yeah.
Then he pops up
5 days later.
Yeah.
Yeah. And out on the road and watching the UFO go. I don't know. For me, this is a pretty fascinating story because of the fact that a lot of these people are pretty credible. And at the same time, they do have other people that can almost corroborate that they've got missing time. Betty and Barney Hill is a really good,
Yeah, they had missing time.
Yeah.
I listened to one of their interviews from a doctor. I guess their first interview while they was under hypnosis, and that's some scary stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Barney discounted it all, right? It took him a little while before he started even going, okay, whatever. But when he went under hypnosis, he was like, okay, this happened.
Yeah.
And then the fact that, well, we'll get into it here. We'll get into the Betty and Barney Hill story in a little bit and kind of peel it back a little bit. We won't get deep into all these stories, but we'll get into them enough to where if it interests you more or you haven't heard a lot about it, go online. There's all kinds of places to find a lot of this. A lot of this very interesting stories. And so, I don't know. What do you think about the abduction phenomena?
Well, that's abduction to me would be like being taken forcefully.
Mm-hmm.
They're not out there saying, "Hey, come pick me up." It's
right.
like a surprise.
These big signs going, "Pick me up, sucker."
Unless you're real crazy and wear the tinfoil hat,
right?
And you're up on top of a mountain going, "I'm waiting on you."
In the lotus position, going, "Oh."
But they, the ones that get abducted, they talk about examinations.
A lot of times, removal of fetuses.
Yes.
I mean,
psychological too. I mean, it's really, really psychological.
Yeah. Could you imagine being semi-lucid, someone grabbing you out of your bed? I mean, some of these abductions are crazy. Floating them through walls and ceilings of their house. and all these crazy things happening to them, and then them waking up in their bed.
It's crazy. You know, I was reading or looking at something about a project the government has still to this day of some kind of molecular thing that you can go through walls. The
What?
military, yes.
Really?
Somebody had a patent on some kind of machine, and yeah, but I don't have a lot of information about it. I just remember seeing it, something I read.
Now that's pretty cool.
So you know where they're getting this technology from.
Right. Right. Now, do you think that some of that technology is given to them by these things,
Yes,
or do you think that they're getting a lot of it from crash retrievals,
I think
or a little of both?
both.
Yeah.
Because I seen a photograph of, I believe it was in Russia, that they had a photograph of a disc, and it had a big old hole blowed in it, like something shot it down.
Hmm.
So I think somebody shot it down. They retrieved it. The U.S. retrieved it, not Russia.
Hmm.
And Bob Lazar says he's seen 9 different craft.
He did. Yep. And you know what's funny is that as time goes on, his story is being more and more and more credible. Right? I mean, everybody was like, "Oh, this guy's freaking wacko," years and years ago, and now Element 115, the Tic Tac, and some of these other ones show that these craft before they take off will kind of go belly first, and then just poof. And he talked about that years and years and years ago, right? That these things seem to, when they really take off, they go belly first, and they just they're gone. And we're starting to see that in some of these videos that are being released. And so I think that what it is he's talking about, before long, he's going to be completely vindicated.
Oh yeah.
And
he somewhat is now.
Yeah,
I mean, with
think
what's
so.
come out.
I think when Element 115 was quote unquote discovered, and he was talking about it since the late 90s.
They can make that stuff.
Yeah.
That's what they said.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So yeah, and it's funny because every time he does an interview and he talks about having Element 115, he gets raided by like 2 or 3 letter agencies looking for that very particular thing that they say doesn't exist, and he didn't work in the place that had it, that tested craft retrievals. It's weird, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, I don't understand this. Man.
So there's a number of different types of alien abduction. You got The Close Encounter of the Third Kind.
That was a good movie.
It was. This type of experience involves seeing an alien spacecraft or aliens themselves, and you're in contact with them.
That would be the 4th kind, right? You actually get contact.
I think it's third kind.
Is it?
I don't know. Are they a 4th kind? That's just a movie.
I think that movie's named after abduction.
The 4th kind. Yeah.
I think so. Not for sure.
But I think if you contact, it's third kind.
Like Stephen Greer says he could do.
Yeah.
Where he says he could contact them in.
CE5.
Yeah. Where he could contact them in and bring them in and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you got abduction, which is what we're talking about tonight.
Yes.
It's involves being taken aboard an alien craft. Subject to physical and psychological examinations. We're going to talk about a couple of those too tonight, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Missing time. That's a good one.
Yeah. And that's usually part of the abduction, right? But you'll notice that should have taken me 5 minutes to get from here to here. For some reason, it took me 2 hours. And I've got missing time. I don't know where I was for 2 hours.
Right. There's sleep paralysis. Now that is scary. That's when
I've never had sleep paralysis.
I don't think I have either, but it involves the person waking up and being unable to move or speak, and the feeling of a presence in the room. So,
Right. And you know, that's also on the other side of the paranormal,
oh yeah,
where, you know, you see people that have that sleep paralysis and then they'll wake up, can't move or anything. And then you'll have usually a succubus or something else in the room, and, or Hat Man, or,
mm-hmm.
you know, these different things. And you can't move, and you're just stuck there watching them do whatever it is that they can do to you. And that's it. But we had someone on once before talking about his alien experiences from a kid, and he talked about that
Sleep
sleep
paralysis. Yeah.
paralysis, and the beings would be around his bed and stuff. Yeah. So
Mm.
yeah, would that not be weird though? Like, you're sitting there, you can't move, you could look at these things coming towards you. That would be pretty freaky. You'd be like, I don't know about
Now,
that.
I've had a firsthand report of an abduction a long time ago.
Oh, really?
Yes. I used to rent when I lived, you know. So I rented from a guy that I ain't going to mention his name, but he swore up and down he was abducted by aliens and had contact with them. And he told me the whole story. He used to mow yards, and he was out mowing the churchyard at that church down there on 72
Mm,
past Tommy's store. It's out there where Jeff lives.
yes. Yes.
Prospect.
Prospect Baptist. Yeah.
And he said uh, he had missing time. So he first said that he saw what looked like a big old ship. It was like a mile long or mile wide.
Mothership.
And yeah, and he said it done like a 90-degree turn, and then that's all he can remember. And he woke up, he had a cut in his belly button. And he showed me the little cut, but you know, I can't say that that's real, but
Right. You know, there was a cut there though.
yes.
I mean,
And he had all kinds of weird things happen to him at his house. He was actually going to be on a radio show in New York. I don't know how that went, but that really did happen here.
that's pretty fascinating.
It is.
I mean, I think that's something that happens. And it's what's weird is that, or what's crazy about this phenomenon is that every time it happens, it seems like when people start doing any kind of regressions,
Mhm.
or as they get older, memories start coming back to them, they realize that this has been happening almost all their life.
Right.
And some people live in families where they talk about this kind of thing, and they realize that their mother, their father, grandparents, you know, that this is something that's gone on through their family history.
Right.
And what's weird about that is that you find out that a lot of these abduction cases are that way. You know, that they it's gone on through their family lineage as far as
Yeah.
back as they could remember, people at least telling them about it.
I think people are selected for that.
Yeah.
They just don't run up on you and say, "Hey, there's one. Let's get him."
Yeah. Yeah.
I think they're selected.
It's not like buffalo hunting, right? It's not like
Yeah.
going out going, "Hey, look, we got one." You know, do you think though that this comes back from, we'll say, ancient alien theory,
May.
where certain people and stuff are selected and they get these upgrades, and as they are go through life and have kids, and then their kids have kids and stuff,
Mhm.
and that way it, you know, it brings people differently, like it starts upgrading us, if you want to say, you know, like
Yeah, I think so. Big Chief Thunder Lung is listening on Podbean.
hey, what's up?
Good to see you on here.
Yes.
We finally got Podbean working again.
Yeah, it's not been working for us for some crazy reason.
I know Eddie is
What's up, Eddie?
he's on YouTube watching.
Oh yeah.
He gets to see his
Facebook.
new thing I made him.
Yes. Yeah, you'll get to see that here right at the 1 hour mark, Eddie. You'll get to see it.
Oh, and by the way, what we're talking about tonight is going along with our show that's on WDJY FM in Atlanta tonight. We interviewed Betty and Barney's niece.
Oh, that's tonight.
That's tonight.
Oh man, that was a great interview.
It was. Now, it may not be the perfect interview because David was on the road and we had a couple of people here, but you ought to listen to it. It's real good. It comes on at 10 p.m.
Yeah. My audio may not be as good as what it is right now because I'm, again, like Jason just said, I was on the road, but it was a great talking to her, the plethora of knowledge she has. And she's still with MUFON, is she not?
I think so.
Yeah. So, yeah, she's an amazing person.
Big Chief said he got to meet her on June the 3rd.
Oh, now that's awesome.
She was with Travis Walton and Thomas Reed.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. Tonight, WDJY FM in Atlanta, that 1 hour of that interview will be on there. You could also go to WDJYFM.com and listen to that interview. Or you could go to paranormal411.org, which is our website. And there's a icon there you click on and it takes you straight to it. So either or. But
either or.
It was a really good interview. I would say that's definitely in our top 10.
So is that the one you're going to start with?
I think so. I think Betty and Barney Hill is, I don't think it's the first. It was the first widely publicized.
Yeah.
I think there was some before, but they were the first ones that really talked about being abducted, undergoing, the hypnosis that they did. And then, realizing that they went through these procedures and all that. I really do think that this story right here is Betty and Barney Hill is probably one of the best cases.
Mm-hmm.
One of the few. And I think that we have a few tonight that we're going to talk about. But this is one of the few that I think that is really good. In 1961, Betty and Barney Hill, they were from New Hampshire. Now, they reported being abducted by aliens while driving home from vacation. Now, the first widely reported incident of alien abduction in the U.S. Happened on September 9th, 1961, which is this case here, in a rural part of New Hampshire. Betty and Barney Hill were driving back from a vacation in Montreal and Niagara Falls. So while Barney was driving, Betty noticed a light in the sky that looked like a shooting star, but it was moving erratically, including some vertical movements. And she told Barney, hey, stop the car. So they pulled over at a picnic area near the Twin Mountains. Now, with them was their dog, Delzy. Now, they both exited the vehicle and took turns with their binoculars looking at the object. And this object was visibly traveling across the face of the moon. Now, Betty's sister had claimed to have seen a flying saucer before, so Betty was confident that that's what this was that she was observing. Now, Barney, however, was not convinced. He thought it was maybe a commercial airliner until it kind of rapidly changed direction and moved towards them. He realized that there was no possible way it could be an airplane. Now, they got back in their car and they drove off slowly, following the object as it descended and flew over the surrounding area. Now, Betty claimed that the craft was longer than 60 feet and seemed to be rotating. Suddenly, the craft zoomed towards Betty and Barney. They stopped the car. Barney got out. And when he got out with a gun. He didn't just get out of the car. He actually had a gun when he got out of the car. And the craft was close, and Barney could see figures through windows. One of the beings communicated the message, stay where you are and keep looking. That was one of the last things Betty and Barney would remember that night. Is that not crazy?
Yeah. And during their hypnosis interview, she came out and said that there was like a bunch of different figures around the car.
Yeah.
They were like in groups. Two would come up. The other two would come up. They was kind of like just surveying it.
They had like 2 hours of missing time.
Yeah. Because
it took them, when they got home, it was 2 hours later than what they were supposed to get home. You know, this case right here was really fascinating because they even later on got, she talked to the Air Force, and the Air Force corroborated that they had other people that called in for sightings of a UFO that night, and stuff like that. So I don't know. I think, you know, with this one right here, all the evidence. I mean, if you read up on Betty and Barney Hill, all the stuff that they went through, and I mean, they went through a ton of ridicule. They stuck to their story. They never deviated from the story all the way up till they died. I mean, they like, you know, there was even a made for TV movie.
Oh yeah.
Made for them. If I'm not mistaken, that highway that they were driving down, there's a placard sitting there now saying that this is a spot where Betty and Barney Hill had their abduction.
That's crazy. I mean, if you don't believe it, why put a marker there?
Yeah, right. Exactly. I mean, Betty and Barney Hill, I don't know.
The movie they made was called The Hills. It was made into a movie in 1975. I'll have to get and watch that.
We'll have to watch that sometime.
Also, I wanted to bring up that in her interview when she was under hypnosis, she was telling that doctor, I mean, it shows a picture of her and Barney being interviewed. And in the interview later on, when they get into the ship, she said there's a being that asked her to take off her clothes and to get down on an examination table. And at that point, she said she wasn't scared because it was kind of low, you know, caring and she said when it all was over, she talked to, I guess they were telepathically talking, I don't know, but she said, how is people going to believe me when I go back? And it said, well, what do you need for somebody to believe you? And there was a book or something that she supposedly took back. I don't know, but that's what her interview went on to say, that it gave her the book, and that's when I stopped listening.
Well, I know Barney also said that he looked over and saw a needle being put into her abdomen, a really long needle being put into her abdomen. And then later on, she also remembered being them. So they think, if I'm not mistaken, when they were abducted, they were taken to the Palladian star system, if I'm not mistaken. And she drew a star map like she was on a planet. And the stars around and everything, as if you were looking off of the planet itself, looking out into the system. And they said that it matched almost identically.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, stuff like that's what gets me to think that, what's going on here.
So Big Chief says, I believe if you've had a dream of you falling and wake up, that was real. You woke up as you were placed back after an abduction.
Dang.
Maybe. I never thought about that.
I've had a lot of those dreams when I was a kid.
You might have been abducted a lot.
Well, I've got this weird thing right here
Uh-oh.
that I could twist.
Yeah, I got one over here. Somewhere. Yeah, right here.
Like the size of, I don't know, the end of my pinky finger.
What do you think they're after?
Whew.
That reminds me, January the 6th, we have 2 abduction, or maybe, I don't know if they're abductees, but they have UFO sightings and experience and wrote a book about it. So they'll be on January the 6th.
Yeah, that's going to be a good show.
Yeah.
We're doing some alien stuff here lately.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, what are they after? I don't know. There's so much speculation over that because you have so many people that say that they've been abducted and that they've been artificially inseminated. You even have some women that have been, their actual doctors have said they were pregnant. They've got photos of them being pregnant. And then all of a sudden the baby wasn't there. And it wasn't like, their body got rid of it or anything else. The doctors are even, flabbergasted at some of that stuff. So are they making hybrids? Are they after DNA? What are they after? That
maybe they're trying to manipulate their own DNA to live in a place like Earth.
Maybe. I would think it'd be easier to terraform it than to create their own, manipulate their own DNA. But hey, I guess if you're as far along as they are, right?
Yeah.
What's really funny to me is that, people talk about stuff crashing and these guys crashing and stuff. They're like, oh, these guys are coming from thousands of miles, hundreds of millions of miles, right? 20, 30, 40 light years, maybe even further, right? Away. How are they coming here and crashing? And what's funny is that you have guys in the Air Force and stuff that say, well, it's possible because even we crash, right? We have these 40, $50 million planes and they get crashed all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It happens. Things happen. Yeah.
So Big Chief also says they are the missing link. It's forced evolution. They've always been here. There's a connection between all
religions
and aliens.
Man, I can't say nothing against that because they all believe that someone from out there came here and created us. I mean, if you look at all creation stories across the world, Roger says they want smaller heads and eyes. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Roger's on Facebook.
Roger Bob.
What's up, Raj? Do we need to go to a break?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. So what do you want to do next? Travis Walton.
I think this is another one of those cases that's, very well known because of the movie Fire in the Sky, right? And he also wrote a book. And so, but how many people were involved in this? And how many people knew he was missing for those 5 days that he was missing? And so, and when he came back, he was pretty messed up.
Yeah.
Pretty messed up.
Phone booth, calling somebody.
Yeah. Left in the middle of nowhere. got in the middle of nowhere and left in the middle of nowhere. So
Yeah.
I'll let you tell this one.
So in 1975, Travis Walton, he was a logger from Arizona. He reported being abducted by aliens while working in the woods. And like David said, they made a movie in 1993 about it.
I've got to go.
He went missing on November 5th, 1975, while working in Apache Sitgreaves National Forest in Arizona. Travis was riding on a truck with 6 of his co-workers when they spotted a saucer-shaped object hovering above them about 110 feet. So Travis dismounted the vehicle and went to investigate, and a beam of light shot forth from the craft, knocking him unconscious. So his colleagues, they were scared. They drove away. And Travis claimed that he woke up in like a hospital room and was being observed by 3 short, bald creatures. He fought with them until 3 humans restrained him and put a transparent plastic mask over his face. He lost consciousness, and the next thing he remembered was walking along a highway 5 days later, catching a glimpse of the spacecraft as it disappeared into the sky.
I was just abducted.
By the potty?
Yeah, by the potty bathroom.
All of Travis Walton's co-workers, they took polygraph tests. They all passed, right?
Yes.
Well,
They had one
inconclusive result.
Yeah. But they all passed.
Right. So in 1978, Travis wrote The Walton Experience, which is a book detailing his claims, and it was later put into a movie.
Fire in the Sky. If you haven't watched it, I don't know where you've been.
I've watched it 100 times. It's critically acclaimed.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Of course they Hollywooded up a little bit. But I think that this story right here, again, has something that a lot of other stories lack. And I think that one thing is there's what was it, 5 of his co-workers that witnessed the abduction, ran, and then went back to look for him because they felt bad that they ran, right? And so you have all these witnesses that witnessed what happened to him. So, I mean, every one of them passed lie detector test. I mean, what else do you want?
Seeing is believing.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people.
Yeah,
a lot of people are like that.
It's funny that you can have faith to believe in something, but you can't believe your own human people.
That's it.
It's crazy.
And what I think is funny about it is that everybody's, like you talked about earlier, Jason, tinfoil hat wearing people and stuff like that. You have a lot of people that think, "Oh, these people are crazy. It can't be true." I don't want to even be caught talking about this stuff because I won't be labeled crazy. And now our Congress is talking about it.
Yeah.
In one sense or another. What does Joseph say here?
He says it's such a deep and diverse topic. Some believe these beings are interdimensional, traveling through portals or wormholes. Some even theorize they are demonic or angelic.
Yeah, it's funny. When this started really blowing up in 2017 and everything, and Louis Elizondo came out and said that he was, head of the ATIP and all that stuff. And he talked about that very thing, Joseph, about the fact that he didn't want to say that they were all from outer space, because he said that there's a possibility, and he said in multiple interviews that he had to watch what it was he said, but he said that there's very good possibility that they come from interdimensional. Some of them may be even from here, extra dimensional. They may even be here. And that's why they're seen coming in and out of the oceans all the time.
Right.
And some homework for people, if you're not really big into this subject, or you like this subject but you don't really study it a lot, you could look up a very famous person that supposedly found this country. Who does that be? Who's the guy that came over in the Nina, the Columbus, right? In his journals, Columbus journaled one night while on the deck, this bright light came from under the ocean, came up through the ocean, hovered above the ship for a while, and then took off.
Sounds like a few recent experiences.
It does, right? The Nimitz incidents and all these other, the exact same thing.
Big Chief says that Travis told him that they're making a new version of the movie.
Oh, really? So is it going to be not as Hollywooded up? Is it going to be more true to the book?
I don't know.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. He also says that he was heavily medicated for 3 weeks because of his experiences that started as a kid to the present day. In 2020, the government came clean and I stopped all my, you got to excuse me,
meds.
My eyes ain't good, meds. I can't see that.
What is it?
Misdiagnosed and mistreated, and I can't get those years back.
Yeah, 3 decades, he said.
That's terrible.
That's terrible. Yeah. That's never any fun. You know, that's the thing about this stuff, is that they want to label you crazy, and they want to medicate you up and make it to where you're no longer really as functional.
Right.
Because they think something's wrong with the brain. Got a chemical imbalance.
Yeah. I wonder why.
I wonder who made
Somebody's
me.
been messing with my brain.
That's it. They've been giving me stuff that my brain shouldn't be having in there.
Roger's got a good point.
What's that, Roger?
They could be us from the future.
You know, Raj, what's pretty cool about that is the fact that there's a lot of people who say that is the fact, that they are us from the future. And that's why they're taking DNA, is because something's happened in the future and they can't no longer procreate or do whatever. And they're trying to go back and get that, DNA so they could start that back up again. But yeah, I think it's all possible.
Yeah. So there's some aliens that are, human-like, and some that are.
You got the Greys. Then you got the Nordics. Then you have the reptilians. A lot of people say, though, that the Greys seem more to be robotic in nature.
Yeah.
And that usually, because Travis Walton talked about this, that he fought the gray aliens, kind of fought them off. And then some humanoids came in, looked just like humans. And so he thought he was cool. And then they gas masked him pretty much. And that was the last he remembered of being on the ship. And so they're the ones who came in and got him and masked him. So he talks about seeing 2 different types of aliens on that ship.
Yeah.
When he was abducted. which is pretty cool too. Now this next one we're going to talk a little bit about is pretty cool too, and it's, if a lot of people don't know Whitley Strieber, he he was a fiction writer for more than 40 years. He had pretty notable titles, including the horror novels The Wolfen and The Hunger. Now, Strieber says that his writing streak was interrupted one night in the late 80s by an alien abduction in upstate New York. And so Strieber recounted his experience in his nonfiction title, Communion. Now, this book is, I think, actually made bestsellers list. And that was in 1987. Now, the incident occurred the night of December 6, 1985. As Strieber slept alone in his cabin in the woods, he said that he was woke by a strange noise. Then he saw some small non-human entities approaching his bed. Then he woke up and it was morning. Now, when he woke up, he was disoriented and he felt pretty aggressive for, some odd reason. And it was during a session of regressive hypnosis a few months later that some of his memories started returning. And since then, he refers to these beings as visitors that entered his home and abducted him. And, Whitley Strieber has been on freaking Coast to Coast. I can't tell you how many times. I think that the reason I did this one is because Whitley Strieber is pretty notable in the field. And a lot of people say that, oh, this is just another one of his fictions because, of course, he was a pretty big fiction writer and things like that. But I don't know. What do you think, Jason?
Yeah, I've heard people, the naysayers, that say he made it up.
Right. It's another fiction.
He's a hoaxer, and
right.
But
he's just after the money, and
that's what they're going to say to everybody that
right. Well,
has these.
Exactly. But I don't know. I just don't see the appeal in it myself. Right. If I had an abduction story, I would probably more than likely not tell a whole lot of people.
Yeah, that's the reason why people don't say anything.
Yeah.
Until years later.
Yeah.
When they say, "Hey, what can it hurt?"
Right.
I mean,
what can they do to me? Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. That one to me is one of the good ones. Again, Whitley Strieber was pretty fascinating story. There's another one that's pretty fascinating too.
He had another encounter. Did you see him?
Yeah. You want to talk about it?
I'll go ahead and talk about it. He's been on Art Bell show. He was a lot.
Yes. Tons of times was he on Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell.
If
I'm not mistaken, he actually has a podcast too. Whitley Strieber does.
Trying to find it again. Okay, he was asleep in his hotel room in the middle of the night on June 6, 1998. He claimed to have been visited by another mysterious stranger. And he said he got up to open the door thinking it was the room service waiter. He recalled and said it was not. It was a man he described as about 5.5 feet tall. Older looking, like someone in his 70s. He wore dark colored clothing and a turtleneck and charcoal slacks.
That's pretty descriptive.
It is. He claimed the visitor stood motionless by his window for nearly an hour, talking about the dangers of creating an intelligence more evolved than its creator. AI.
AI. Yeah. And what is it that we're doing now?
I don't know. A lot of AI.
So much that even some of the creators are saying we need to stop and slow down because it's dangerous. Yeah.
So he said it was the most extraordinary conversation he's ever had in his life. So there's another one. Yeah. That's all.
Yeah. That's pretty fascinating story though, right? Now, I don't know if a lot of people know this one. It's a pretty famous one too. But it's the UFO abduction of pilot Frederick Valentich.
I don't think I've heard it.
So on October 21st, 1978, an Australian pilot, Frederick Valentich, disappeared into thin air. It was during a 125 nautical mile training flight aboard his Cessna 182L. Now, over the Bass Strait between Tasmania and the Australian mainland is where the incident occurred. So at 7:06 p.m., while he was at 4,500 feet, after departing Moorabbin, so he was going towards Kings Island, Valentich reported that an unidentified aircraft was following him. Now, Melbourne Flight Service insisted that there was no traffic near him, but the pilot was adamant that a large vessel was on his tail. He explained that it had 4 bright lights and suddenly passed at 1,000 feet above him at a remarkable speed. He said for 5 straight minutes, Valentich described its movements and that it was a shiny metallic exterior. Suddenly, he experienced engine trouble. Now, Melbourne Flight Service asked him once again what the aircraft looked like. And he said, "It is hovering and it is not an aircraft." And that was his final words. Now, they've got all of this on tape. Now, the last sound that the radio officials heard was a metallic scraping sound. So, scraping sound. So they thought that he crashed. But later, they searched the area, which yielded nothing. Not even the Australian Department of Transportation could find answers on it. Like his plane, him, and all just disappeared.
Did he ever return?
Nope.
He's still missing?
Gone. They've never found the wreckage or anything out there. And what's funny about this story is that years later, they actually had a farmer that talked about witnessing every bit of it. He talked about every single bit of it, that he witnessed it, and he witnessed the UFO getting the plane and then taking off.
Wow. Nobody believed him.
I bet
he
they
was
did.
Crazy.
Yeah, crazy as heck. But, they said that the pilot himself, he was like 20, 21. He was pretty young. But he was at the same time, he was pretty accomplished. He had flown quite a bit. And they said that there was no reason that they can see that he didn't know the plane or the type of aircraft that was supposedly following him. That he is accomplished enough that he should have known what type of craft it was. So that's one thing I found pretty fantastic about the story.
So Big Chief has give us a list of some UFO incidents.
Oh yeah.
The Melbourne UFO incident. Have you heard that one? We'll have to look that one up and check it out. I don't think I have. I know I've heard of the Zimbabwe school.
Yes. Yep. There's actually two different school incidences, and that was one of them.
Yeah. The Pascagoula case with the two brothers.
Yep.
I think we might go over that one after a while.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the Pascagoula that was pretty crazy.
So I guess it's about time for us to take a break. What do you think?
Right at that time.
It's right at that time.
Pretty close anyway. What are we, 50-something minutes in?
55 minutes.
Man. Roger said that COVID did us in and we need DNA from the past.
Oh, no.
Well, those who may have taken the shot. Those of us who didn't, we'd be called deplorables by some.
So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk about a few more abduction cases. And if you want to call in over here, Big Chief, after the break, we'd like to hear some of your stories.
Yep. Remember, you can find us on paranormal411.org, Paranormal 411 on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Also on Saturday nights, hey, that's tonight, at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can find us at WDJY FM. That's 99.1 FM on your dial if you're in the Metro Atlanta area. Or you could go to WDJYFM.com to listen to us. You could also do that by going to paranormal411.org, clicking on the link there, and you can find it there also. We're on all of your favorite podcast platforms.
Oh, yeah.
Join us.
All right. We'll be back right after a 6-minute break.
Whoop.
6 minutes.
See you in 6 minutes.
What if the world we know is merely a fraction of reality? What if there are forces, entities, and phenomena that exist just beyond our comprehension in the shadows of the unknown? Welcome to Paranormal 411, your gateway to the unexplained and the downright chilling. Imagine, if you will, a quiet, sleepy town tucked away from the hustle and bustle of the city. The locals tell tales of a house atop a hill where strange lights flicker and eerie sounds echo in the dead of night. Some say it's haunted, others claim it's a portal to another realm. Whatever the truth, one thing is certain: those who venture there are never quite the same. Or picture this, a clear, starry night in the heart of the desert. Suddenly a blinding flash cuts across the sky, a craft of unknown origin moving at impossible speeds. It hovers, then vanishes, leaving only questions and a sense of awe. Could it be visitors from another world, or perhaps a secret government project? These stories, these encounters with the unknown, are what we love here at Paranormal 411. Our mission? To explore the unexplored, to question the unquestioned, and to shine a light into the darkest corners of the paranormal. We've journeyed through haunted houses and UFO sightings, and into the mysteries of cryptids and psychic phenomena, and pondered the existence of other dimensions. And yet, there is so much more to discover. Paranormal 411 is your guide to the unexplained and the extraordinary. Here we talk about the mysteries that lurk in the shadows of our world, from haunted houses and UFO sightings to cryptids and psychic phenomena. We love to question, to explore, and to understand the unknown. There's a world of mystery out there just waiting to be discovered. So why not join us on this journey into the unknown? Subscribe to our YouTube channel and become a part of the Paranormal 411 community. Together, we can uncover the secrets that the universe holds. Welcome to Paranormal 411. Your journey into the unknown starts here. Join us.
In the heart of Madisonville, Tennessee, lies a pizzeria like no other. Step through the door of Legends and Lore Pizzeria and be transported to a realm where paranormal and cryptid encounters, along with mouth-watering pizza, go hand in hand. Meet Eddie and his crew, who serve up slices of the supernatural along with the best pies in town. With the walls adorned with eerie artifacts, indulge in piping hot slices that melt in your mouth and tease your taste buds. And it's not just the locals who love the incredible pizza. Legends and Lore has been selected as the best pizza joint in all of Monroe County. As lovers of everything pizza and the paranormal, the owners have mastered the art of crafting unforgettable combinations that will leave you wanting more. To stay connected with this mystical eatery, follow Legends and Lore Pizzeria on Facebook, where tales of their latest creations and upcoming specials will be shared. Make sure to browse their custom menu, featuring legendary pizzas like the Chupacabra Ranch and the Exorcist. So, whether you have an appetite for the supernatural or simply seek the best pizza in town, Legends and Lore is the place to be. Come for the unforgettable flavors, stay for the captivating stories, and find yourself in a world where legends and pizza collide.
Get ready to rock with the electrifying sound of Catalyst, a band that's sure to leave you wanting more. With their powerful lyrics and killer riffs, Catalyst is a great sound in the world of rock music. You can listen and find Catalyst on Bandcamp, or go to the link at paranormal411.org and click on their banner.